Hey everybody, it's Charlie. You've probably seen the preview from Aquaman that they dropped this morning. There's a bunch of different stuff. We get to see Black Manta with his comic book helmet, Mera, Aquaman, Atlantis, his Atlantean mother. There's a couple big Easter eggs in the pictures that you've all probably spotted. James Wan, the director, said a whole bunch about it, and we have news about the first trailer. So if you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get all the DC videos. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do some kind of Aquaman-related giveaway. The movie isn't coming out till later this year, but obviously they're ramping up for a big Comic-Con presentation. I'll just read James Wan's quotes that he gave about the movie. So he says, "The water world my movie takes place in is so separate and so far apart from previous DC movies, it's like I'm making my own sci-fi fantasy film. There's a whole new underwater world no one has seen before in live action. There are Atlanteans riding great white sharks, giant octopus, 7 different underwater kingdoms, trench-dwelling cannibals, and even sea dragons." So obviously James Wan, notable horror film director, imbued a little bit of horror into the film with some of these undersea environments and some of these monsters that we're going to meet, but it's also meant to feel like this big swashbuckling underwater adventure. You probably heard that James Wan quote where he said 7 kingdoms of Atlantis, and you're like, wait a minute. Is that the Jeff Johns 7 Kingdoms of Atlantis? Is that the Unite the 7 teaser that they released when they first announced Jason Momoa as Aquaman? You may remember it's almost been 4 years since Jason Momoa was announced as Aquaman. I think it was like December 2014 when they were first like, Jason Momoa signs 4-picture deal to play Arthur Curry in the DC films. They released this picture that said Unite the 7, but people are like, are they talking about the 7 members of Justice League? Because as it stands as of Justice League, there were 6 members, so people are like, well, Green Lantern is the character that they don't have right now. Is that going to be 7? Is that what Unite the 7 is supposed to mean? But if you haven't been a big Aquaman comic book fan, there was a Jeff Johns New 52 storyline that was building towards Aquaman uniting the 7 different kingdoms of Atlantis. So Atlantis is a city, but it's also like a nation made up of a bunch of different territories. James Wan is implying that we're going to see all 7 in Aquaman as he becomes king of Atlantis. Like this is all about Aquaman versus Ocean Master for the kingdom of Atlantis. Like he has to seize his throne, earn his birthright. But in doing that, he has to unite all these disparate peoples. One of the other big nations is Zebul. Like Trench is another big nation, the actual Trench, where we'll probably see that giant sea dragon that he teased. He doesn't appear anywhere in these images, but Dolph Lundgren is actually playing Nereus, king of Zebul. In the movie, he's going to be Mera's father. Mera is princess of Zebul. So it's like, princess from another nation, getting married to Aquaman, then becoming king and queen of Atlantis eventually. In success, however many Aquaman movies that they want to keep making. I'll address that at the end of the video too, because we learned all about the Flash movie, and I was planning on making a video for that because it's going a little more back to the future than Flashpoint from the comics. The fact that Nicole Kidman's Atlantis character, his Atlantean mother, is still alive and is still Queen of Atlantis tells you a little bit about the story that they're doing. Because there's an animated movie called Throne of Atlantis. I think I've used it in most of the Aquaman videos that I've done just to explain what's going on with the Aquaman live-action movie. During that, Ocean Master winds up killing her, seizing the throne, making war on the surface. Aquaman has to stop him. The Justice League helps out. So obviously there's only going to be shades of that for the live-action movie. Like they're pulling, like I said, a little bit from Jeff Johns' Unite the 7 Seas New 52 storyline in the Justice League Throne of Atlantis story. If you don't know who Ocean Master is, he's being played by Patrick Wilson. Obviously, if they're going to be very comic booky with the look of Black Manta, they're also probably going to be very comic booky with the look of Ocean Master, because he wears a very badass Atlantean-looking helmet. Usually his modus operandi is in collaborating with villains and other rogue nations to take over the city of Atlantis himself, so there's this Game of Thrones element too, but just to be clear, Ocean Master is the main villain of the movie, even though Black Manta is probably one of the most famous Aquaman villains. If you don't know what the relationships are either, Ocean Master is Aquaman's half-brother. So Atlantis, Aquaman's Atlantean mother, had him with Thomas Curry, the human, who's dead as of the events of this movie. She then has to go back to Atlantis to become its queen. She's forced to marry another Atlantean. That man was Ocean Master's father. So Ocean Master is 100% Atlantean. He would technically become the next king, but he's pretty crazy and he wants to destroy the surface world. So obviously that's why Aquaman, who also has a claim to the throne, needs to take it. But his whole arc in the film is that the people of Atlantis view him as an outsider because he's a half-breed, he's half-human, and the people of the surface world think he's an outsider because he's half-Atlantean. So he doesn't fit in anywhere. That was what that funny scene in Justice League where he's sitting on the lasso of truth is, where he talks about being an outsider, never being part of a group.
Hey, you know what? I don't want to die. I'm young. There's shit that I want to do. I just feel like I never really embraced the sea or the land. I've been a loner my whole life. Being part of something bigger like this, maybe I'm scared because I'm meant to.
I think that was beautiful.
You say a word about this, you'll meet every piranha I know.
That was probably one of the funniest moments from the film. It does a good job of showing you Jason Momoa's range. He can swing from funny to really badass at the same time without being super silly like Ezra Miller's Flash. I know you're all wondering about Black Manta too. James Wan only said that he's part mercenary, full-time pirate who in his suit looks like some crazy alien from outer space. Obviously, he's talking about his comic book helmet. His suit just gives him the ability to function and fight people on the ocean floor as deep as Atlantis is. Like, it would crush a normal human, so he has to have special technology that enables him to be down there. We don't really know what's going on with his character before the events of this movie, why he hates Aquaman, and if it has anything to do with his comic book backstory. I believe that James Wan said that they're not doing Aqualad in this movie, but that doesn't mean that they'll never do the character. If you're looking for a lot of really good Black Manta, you get that through Aqualad's character during Young Justice Season 2, because he's trying to infiltrate his team, so he pretends to go team up with his father. What they might do for the live-action universe is pit Black Manta against Aquaman because maybe Aquaman killed his father or killed somebody that he really cared about. His love interest in the comics is Lucia Hale. She's from Zebel, the same place that Mira is from, so maybe she died somewhere in the backstory of the movie. But for whatever personal reason, he obviously hates Aquaman. That's basically his arc, wants to take him down. He teams up with Ocean Master. But if you know anything about the Ocean Master character, he's a total dickhead that only cares about himself, cares about power. He's very xenophobic, hates the surface world, so he uses Black Manta the same way he uses everyone else. So it sounds like they are planning to have an arc of film, so I'm not completely expecting Black Manta to resolve his issues with Aquaman during this movie. They'll continue into whatever sequel they wind up making, but a lot of that just depends on how things go with this first movie. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about the look of all this? This is what Mira actually looks like on film. Freaking hot. They actually released this last year, so obviously they've been working on this for a long time. The reason we haven't seen a trailer yet is because the special effects haven't been finished, but they just showed a finished trailer off just the other day, and it's either the Kids' Choice Awards or the MTV Movie Awards that's happening on Monday. Jason Momoa is attending. I believe he's presenting an award. There's a really strong chance that that's when they'll drop the trailer, but they could always wait till Comic-Con, so either it's going to be Monday or Comic-Con. What'll happen next is unless they drop like some other really huge bomb in the next couple of hours, I'll work on a Flash movie video and explain what's going on with that movie, because it is actually happening. They're genuinely making it, but there have been some big changes in what it's going to be. So click here for that new Wonder Woman 2 teaser, and click here for that new Avengers 4 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.